Hey, what's happening, Wargamers and board gamers alike? Welcome to another Lantern year for my solo Kingdom Death campaign for the settlement of Magrathea. So you guys have come along with me so far for a couple Lantern hunts, and we're going to be going on another one this week. It is going to be another White Lion hunt, but that is going to change up soon. And yeah, we're going to check and see what happens on this hunt, whether or not the survivors come back, whether or not there's any surprises, and we're going to see what the dark, terrifying world of Kingdom Death has in store for our survivors. So let's go take a look at the settlement and the survivors as they depart on their next hunt. Here we have our survivors ready to go out on the hunt. Now, sadly, we lost some last time, so a couple new folks making their way in. But to start it off, we have I'm a Human coming back out on our first hunt after the prologue. Just giving her a bone blade, some cloth, and some monster grease for evasion. So not a whole lot, but I'm going to try and keep her alive a little bit. We have Amy, who has that big title now, the Wise Hero of the Lantern, I believe it is. She'll be rocking the King's Spear full set of rawhide gear. We have Slatty Bartfest. This one is Ford Prefect, and he's just rocking the cloth and some bone darts. So he's going to be our guy who basically just hangs back and tries to peg the White Lion with some fun darts. And then we have Slatty Bartfest, who inherited almost a full set of rawhide gear and will be rocking a bone blade and monster grease. So these four are getting ready to go out on the hunt for another White Lion. So our brave hunters are going to take the first step forward, and I think I'm going to lead with Slatty Bartfest, and he's just going to unveil the first hunt event, which is just a random hunt event on the D100 table. The white D10 will be the 10s, the gold will be the 1s, and we got 57. And to start us off, we have the Gorm's Laughter. The rhythmic wail of a Gorm's laughter reaches the survivors, filling them with fear. The cackling follows the survivors, tormenting them until they reach their quarry. Place a token on each and every hunt board space between the survivors and their quarry. When the survivors move onto a space with a token, remove it, and all non-death survivors suffer one brain event damage. So I'm going to be going into this with quite a bit of brain damage. Now, thankfully, I can't take severe injuries on the hunt, but it does mean that the first severe injury or first hit to the brain I take in this hunt is going to. We will now take Amy, the Wise Hero of the Lantern, and she'll go in there. All my survivors are now taking some brain damage, and we're going to reveal the hunt, which will get the power on this last hunt. The White Lion is going to move one space away as it's hunting something else. It's also going to start in ground fighting. Now, thankfully, this time around, I do have the spear and the darts to try and knock him out of ground fighting before I take too much damage. But still, would have liked to see a different hunt. Next up, we'll have I'm a Human. Move forward onto the hunt event. Ooh, and okay, so we're getting one of the promo cards here, the Baby and the Sword. So this event, the survivors find a woman's corpse riddled with arrows. It rests in the center of a pattern drawn in blood, a screaming infant in one hand and a sword in the other. As the survivors approach, a massive worm bursts from the ground, blocking their way. The survivors may grab and dash. We have a chart here, and we're going to find out what... we're gonna grab and dash. We're not gonna do a random event here. So let's find out what happens. 9. Okay. So in this case, I remove the card from the hunt event deck permanently. The survivors madly dash past the worm. Each survivor gains 1 random disorder, and the group gains 1 newborn and 1 sword of silence rare gear. Then I trigger the harvester event. In this case, the harvester. 10. The ground quakes and cracks beneath the survivors. A colossal worm bursts from below. Its skin a mosaic of screaming faces. The mere sight of it is maddening. All survivors gain 1 random disorder. Okay, so that's 2 random disorders for each of these folks. And must spend 1 survival or be devoured whole. If any survivor has noisy gear, the harvester can be drawn to the sound and they are instantly devoured. Nothing can save them. And so if any of them die, I also don't get to take advantage of cannibalism. So that's going to bleed my survival a bit, but I think it's worth it to keep all 4 alive. The results of the Baby and the Sword event, I do get the Sword of Silence, which is a speed 2, 5+ to hit, 6 damage, wow. Sentient, irreplaceable, and unique, as well as a newborn, which gives all the weapons slow, but I get 1 population when I return to settlement. Moving forward again, we'll have Ford Prefect move forward, and because there's no card, just going to roll on the hunt table with a 56. And that result will give me the Dead Monster. Now, sadly, I don't have more than 3 understanding, so I can't take advantage of the other benefits. Instead, all my survivors are just going to start chowing down on the Dead Monster, on the rotting corpse, and immediately lose another survival. So a couple of them already have no survival. Amy's going to be down to 1, and Slatty Bartfest is going to be down to 2. However, that does make the next target, or the next hunt event, the lion. So we will begin the hunt. Showdown rather than hunt, actually. The showdown board is set up. We have I'm a Human and Amy hiding in the grass here. We have Slatty Bartfest right over here, ready to go collect the corpse there. And we have Ford Prefect hiding over there in the grass with his bone darts. Now, thankfully, the lion is in ground fighting, so he's basically not going to do anything until that's either activated or he's wounded. So that's going to give me plenty of time to safely collect this. Starting with Slatty Bartfest, he's going to move over here. He's going to take some brain damage, I believe it is, for going through. For going through that. But you know, ooh, actually, you know what? No, I don't want to do that because he's already taken some hits to the noggin here. And he doesn't have enough insanity to keep him kicking around. So that was kind of silly of me. So instead what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with Ford Prefect over here, and he's just going to give a toss with his bone darts, and he's needing a 7+ to hit, which he got with the beast's elbow. So there is a failure chance here, but as well as a critical wound chance. So here's hoping for something. What's going to happen if I'm going to wound the lion here. And hopefully it does, because the grab's going to come in and going to do some damage to Amy and I'm a Human there. 8 + 3, yeah, okay, so that is going to wound, so no failure. And that means the first AI card is going to be discarded. So that is good, because that does get rid of ground fighting, which is excellent. And yeah, so moving on, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start moving Amy over to the corpse here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just because I want her to be able to collect that, because there could be some good resources there. But it does mean that she's not really doing much this turn. So what I'm going to then do is I'm going to activate Slatty Bartfest, and he's going to move in here. And basically everyone is just going to hang out and let the lion then draw his AI. The lion AI, we have Claw. So closest threat facing in range. So basically there's 3 different threats there that I can choose from. Yeah, and he's just gonna move forward and take a whack. So he's just gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and take a swing. And I think he's gonna take a swing at Slatty Bartfest because he's got +1 evasion for the monster grease, as well as +1 evasion for the rawhide vest or the rawhide gear, as well as being in the grass. So this 2+ is gonna become a 6+ to hit. And he's going to fail both, so that's going to bring us back to the survivor turn, and Amy's just going to go over here. She's going to take a brain damage, but she's going to roll on the survivor corpse thing here and find out what we gain. So I'm kind of hoping for, 3+ here. 3+. So 2 insanity and 1 random resource we're going to gain is going to be one of the question marks. So it can be an organ, bone, hide, or consumable. Also, before I forget, there was a couple disorders I was supposed to give out to our survivors here. So let's start with Amy. And she's going to get arithmophilia and... Oh, I don't think destined... Huh. Okay, yeah, so destined, I guess, is okay. So destines and arithmophilia. So if they do not depart, they lose all survival insanity. So Amy's going to be departing a lot. And, ooh, that's going to affect some things. So I'm going to roll a d5, and that is going to be Amy's movement modifier. So here's hoping for a high roll. For a good roll here. 5. So her movement's only going to be 3. So what she did is still actually valid, but it would have taken the full 2 turns. So I'm going to have to make. I'm just going to speed this up a little bit. I'm just going to get all the cards drawn and just let you know what they got. So the remaining disorders, I'm a Human, got anxiety and stage fright. So that's going to affect some things right there. Slutty Bartfest got prima donna and anxiety. So the anxiety is basically they get the priority token, or whenever they're doomed, or no, it's whenever they get the priority token. Oh, jeez, I think they have to actually start first unless they have the stink. No, they gain the priority token unless they have something stinky, which they do. Monster grease. Slutty Bartfest, Ford Prefect is apathetic and unlucky, so he can't do a critical hit, and he can't gain like survival or courage or anything until he gets +8 understanding. So these are definitely going to affect the growth of these characters, but we'll see what happens. So we will have I'm a Human. Just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and she's going to take a swing at the lion's blind spot with her newfound Sword of Silence. So this is going to be a 5+ to hit, 4+ because in the blind spot. And it's actually really easy to wound. She's looking at a 6+ to wound. Actually, it's going to be a 7+ because in our prologue fight, she was the one who used the Founding Stone to crush the lion's claw and gain +1 strength. So she's got 7 strength to this, needing 8. So basically just don't roll a 1, which she did not do. 1 hit because she needed a... oh, no, actually that is 2 hits. Okay, never mind. I was starting to get worried and thinking that one of those was going to be a miss. But no, in the blind spot it is a 4+. So let's see, we have the Strange Hand, and we got the Beast. Ooh, so she could possibly get another +1 strength. We're going to start with whacking at the Strange Hand, hoping for a critical hit. Oh my god, that's fantastic. So I'm a Human, just crushed the Strange Hand, which in this case gives a persistent injury, and... oh, does she have a survival? I don't know if she has her survival. Oh, she does not. So she can't actually gain the +1 strength, but it is creating a persistent injury, which we'll just put over here, which will affect any card with that. Sadly, no additional strength there. And then she's going to take a run at the beast chest. Another critical here. Not a critical, but it is definitely a wound. So far, we are making a fairly decent clip on the lion's health here. We've already removed 3 of its wounds, and we still have some hard hitters. Well, at least one hard hitter. So Slutty Bartfest is just going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and he's going to take a swing at the lion in the blind spot. 5+ to hit. And sadly, that 4 will not be a hit in this case because it's 6 + 1 for blind spot, so only 1 hit. And we will reveal the Beast Temple. So let us see if we're going to wound. He has +2 strength to this, so he needs a 6+. And he'll get it with an prefect. He's just going to move forward 1, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Can't really do much else because unfortunately the baby he's carrying does make him slow. So he's only able to basically move or attack unless I start spending survival to do some other things, which I'm not yet ready to do. So that is the survivor's turn. We're going to move into the lion. We'll draw Claw. So, what are we looking at here? Closest threat facing in range. Nothing is in range. Closest threat in field of view. So we got to find out if Amy or if Ford Prefect is closest. So let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, no, what is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're both equal. So the lion is going to go over and have some fun with Amy, I guess. +1 evasion for Amy, so he's going to be hitting on 3s. So that's going to be 2 hits. Now, thankfully, she has plenty of armor kicking around, so she shouldn't be too damaged by this. But it is 1 damage each. So it's going to be waist and chest. Thankfully, Amy does have armor on both those spots, so she's just going to take 1 damage on it. And that will bring us back to the survivor's turn. And I think we'll start with I'm a Human. And she'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And she's just going to take a swing at the lion's rump. So needing her 4 pluses. Oh, no hit. And no survival to do anything with that either. So unfortunately, she doesn't do anything. So we're going to move on to Amy. And she's just going to go 1, 2, 3. And she's going to jab at the lion with her. So she needs 6s to hit. And she'll get nothing. So I think I'm going to spend one of her survival, her only survival actually, and she's going to surge and she is going to attempt it again, needing 6s. And that's 1 hit. And before I forget, I'm going to find out if her rawhide gear gives her the survival back. And it does. Spear is strength 3 plus her own strength of 1, so she basically needs to roll a 2+ to wound this lion. And she'll wound it on a 4. Oh, and I forgot the hit location. Beast Tail, so it is going to wound, thankfully. So none of that reflex nonsense there. And excellent. Scratch that, nothing happened. Reflex happens regardless of the wound attempt. So with a successful wound, it's going to move forward in a straight line, canceling all hits, now out of range. No other hits. And anything it moves over is going to be grabbed. So it's going to basically do a full move forward. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That does mean my other 2 survivors are definitely well out of range of doing anything. So Ford Prefect is just going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And Slutty Bartfest is just going to go, oh, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 right there. And he's then going to use his Rawhide Headbone to reveal the top 2 AI cards. And we'll get Bat-Around, and we'll put it back so Bat-Around comes up first. So just go back into the AI deck, and so we know what the line's going to do. We are going to see Bat-Around, so he's going to do the closest threat facing in range. There's nothing facing, so it's going to be closest threat in range and field of view, which is going to be Amy. So he's going to turn around and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And yeah, and you know what? This is an accuracy +5, so I'm going to let him take a swing at Amy because she's going to have a +1 evasion for her armor and +1 evasion natural. So the line is going to be hitting on 7. Oh, of course, there's a lantern there. So one hit is going to go through. And I think Amy is going to spend a survival to dodge that. So on a 6+, she gets that survival back. Which she does not, so she is on a survival, but at the very least, she's not going to take a severe brain damage injury. It's going to move us into the survivor's turn. We're going to start with I'm a Human, and she's just going to go over here, and she's going to swing at the line from behind, needing 4 pluses. And she's going to hit with both, so 2 hit locations. So we'll draw the top card of the AI deck, and then we will shuffle in the remaining and find out what the next one is. Or I can actually do this by the rules and draw the hit locations, not the AI cards. So we're going to get the Beast's Heal, and oh, no! Damn it! Alright, we got the trap. So the attacker is caught in the White Lion's ruse is savagely mauled, so doomed, so no survival, that's okay. And basic action against the survivor. So in this case, we are looking at the basic action, which I believe is 2 accuracy, 2 speed, 1 damage. There is monster grease involved, so needing 3 pluses. That's going to be 2 hits at 1 damage each. And that's going to be the chest and the legs. So that's going to be light damage. Slotty Bartfest is going to come in next, and he's going to take a swing with his bone sword, needing 5s to hit. Going to get 2 hits right there. And that's going to be the Scapular Deltoid and the Beast Brow. Frankly, I'm not a fan of either of those reactions there. So I am going to attempt on... I'm going to attempt the Beast Brow first, just because if I fail there, he's going to move away from me, and I'm going to lose the attempt to even try again. So Slutty Bartfest has the Bone Sword, so 2 damage, so needing 6s to wound. Nope, not going to wound, so instead, the lion is going to turn around. 1 brain damage for Slutty Bartfest. And then a basic attack is going to happen against him. So he's actually going to take some... Let's see. He has no insanity. So he's going to take... well, let's see what happens on the severe damage for the brain damage. And then we'll roll the attack. So for brain trauma, we will have a Lantern. Frenzy! Gain 1d5 insanity, 1 speed token, and 1 strength token. Ooh, wow. Ignore slow on melee weapons. May not spend survival. Oh, nuts. You may not use fighting arts, you may not use weapon specialization or weapon mastery. Can be gained multiple times, last till end of showdown. So yeah, he is about to take some whacks to the head there, but he is frenzied and going to get some good benefits there. So let's see, the D5 insanity. So he will get 3 insanity from that as well. But we have the basic attack coming back at him, and he's got monster grease and +1 evasion, so 2 evasion, so 4 pluses to hit. And we will see both of those hit, which will result in 1 to the waist and 1 to the chest. Now, thankfully, he has armor on both those locations, so there's no light injuries yet. And for the next attack, he does now actually have the +1 strength here, so he needs, let's see, on 8, so 5s to wound, so 50-50 chance here. That's not just a wound, that is a crit. So the trauma of the impact fractures the White Lion's shoulder and -1 movement token. Fantastic. We're going to move into the next survivor, and I think we're going to go with, let's go with Amy in this case. And as much as I want to move back and not be within whacking range, I think she's going to stay in there for the blind spot for the +1. So hitting on 5s with the King Spear. Going to get 1 hit. Oh. And that hit is going to be the trap. So he's going to turn around and he's going to do a basic action. So 2 attacks, needing 4 pluses because of the, 4 pluses because of the evasion bonuses. And he's going to hit twice and cause some damage to the hands and the waist is done there. So we're going to have Ford Prefect. He's just going to throw some of his darts in there and just needing a 7+ to hit. Hits on a 9. Excellent. we're going to draw the beast's tail. So there is going to be a reflex, so poor Amy is going to take some more damage here as she gets grabbed, unless I can do a critical wound. And what are we needing here? So 3, so needing 5s to wound. So it's not even a wound. And yeah, so the lion is going to move forward 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, actually 5 because -1 movement token. And Amy is just going to be grabbed and knocked down and suffer 1 damage to her noggin. Now, thankfully, she does have the headband there, so she's not going to take light or severe damage, but still, she's taking. And that does bring us to the lion's turn. So his AI card will be Bat Around. So closest target threat facing in range. Well, Amy's not a threat; she's on the ground. Closest target threat in field of view. So we are looking at one of these 3 right here, and I think it's going to be one of these 2. So what we're going to do is, we are going to have him target Slatty Bartfest. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and yeah, we're going to have him bat him with the attack here. He's got +2 evasion, so accuracy 5+, so needing 7s to actually hit here, and both are going to hit, and they are going to damage his noggin and noggin. So he's actually going to get knocked down. Unfortunately, because he is the only one that happens to have survival right now, and he can't even use it, nobody's going to be able to encourage him. So he's down until the end of the lion's next turn. But thankfully, Amy does get back up, and we will see what our other survivors. I'm a human, and she's just going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and she's going to take 2 whacks at the lion in the rear. Once again, needing 5s. Both are going to hit the flank. And the fuzzy groin. All right. So I think we all know what we go with first here. It's going to be the fuzzy groin. So she has her her wonderful Sword of Silence +1 strength. So basically anything but a 1 is going to wound this. So that will wound. It's not going to be a crit, but it does get the fuzzy groin and gets one of the AI cards out of the way. And now going to go with the beast's flank. So if I wound, it's going to cause a priority target token to go on her. And that is also going to be a wound, not a critical. But that means she is going to be the target of the next attack, even though she is in the blind spot. Next up, we're going to have Amy move forward. 1, 2, 3, 4. I got to risk it. I need to be able to hit here. 5. Oh, she can't actually do that. She can only move 3. So never mind. So she's going to go back there, and she has nothing else that she can do except for the Rawhide Headband. So she'll spend her activation. 2 AI cards remaining. We have Bat Around and we have Claw. And I think what I want to do is I want to try and get rid of... Oh, I don't think I'm going to wound him this time. So I'm going to put Claw on top because I suspect that we're probably not going to wound with the darts there. Let's just get that out of the way. So let's quickly find needing a 7+ to hit. Nope, will do nothing. So he'll just hang out there a little bit more, and we're going to go into the lion. So the lion will draw a claw, as we suspected. So closest threat facing... Well, actually, we have a priority token, so he's just going to turn around and take a swing at 3 pluses to hit. That's going to be 2 hits right there. And it's going to hit her in the hands and the leg. The human has already taken a shot to the leg, so unfortunately she is going to get knocked down. But at the end of the turn, Slatty Bartfest does get up, and we're going to go into the survivor. We're going to start with Slatty Bartfest because he is right behind there, and he's going to use his extra speed token for a 3rd attack, and he's got his strength token, so he's going to be hitting him on 5 pluses with 3 attacks, and he's going to have +3 to his strength on this one. So only 1 hit, but that might be enough to get rid of Bat Around. And he's going to be hit in the beast's heel. A 5+ to wound here, so here's hoping. That is a 6, so it will wound. No critical, but it does get rid of that Bat Around card that I've not been having. We'll move into Ford Prefect. He's just going to throw a dart in, needing the 7+, which is going to hit, actually. Excellent. And the location is going to be the paw. And, oh, okay, so if he fails to wound, he's going to get a basic action against him. So needing 5s, and a 3 is not a 5. So the lion is going to look at Fort Prefect for the first time. 1, 2, 3, 4, and take a swing. And on top of that, it is going to be +2 damage, so it's going to be 3 damage apiece here. And I don't think he has any... He has no evasion whatsoever, so he's going to take 2 hits on a 3 and an 8. And each one of these is actually going to be 3 damage apiece. So in the legs and the waist. So the waste is going to cause him to get to heavy damage and knock down, and then he's also taking severe damage on the legs. Rolling on the chart to find out what the severe damage on his legs are going to be. We got a 5. And that is a hamstrung. Painful rip, the leg is unusable. You can no longer use any fighting arts or abilities. This injury is permanent and can be recorded once. Gain 1 bleeding token. That's, all things considered, that's not too bad actually. And that will take us into Amy, who will just go 1, 2, 3, still can't do anything, and bring us into the Lion's Churn. And there's only 1 card remaining, and it is a Claw. So he's just going to turn around and just kind of go 1, 2, 3, and look at Amy, because she is the closest, and going to be a basic attack. So in this case, needing 3s to hit. And that's going to hit both of them, and going to cause 1 damage to the chest and the hands. Thankfully, her armor is doing the trick, keeping her alive, but she is running out of it. But she is currently in a position where she'll be able to strike back. And in addition, the other survivors are both going to stand up, and I think we have a chance to take the lion out this turn. I think everyone's wounded, so I don't have any priorities here. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use I'm a Human. She's just going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And she is going to try and finish this. So needing 4s to hit because of that wonderful, wonderful sword. Oh, only 1 hit. And it's going to be on the scapular deltoid, but anything but a 1 will wound this. And that will be a wound, which gets rid of that claw. And 1 more is all we need to finish the white lion off. I think I'm going to attempt it with Amy, because she has the better strength than Slatty Bartfest. So she's just going to go 1, 2, 3. And she's going to poke him twice with the King Spear. And miss with both. Which will take us to Slatty Bartfest then, I guess. And 1, 2, 3, 4. He's got speed 3, needing 5s to hit. And gonna hit 3 times. So if I draw the trap, I'm gonna be very displeased. So we got the ribs, we got the glorious mane, and we got the. I think we're gonna start with the glorious mane just because that can get us a resource here. So I can't wound it, but on a crit it would have given me something, but it didn't. So we are then gonna move on to the beast's ribs here. So as always, hoping for a crit, but you know we'll take it just a wound on a 5+, 7. All right, so that does crit it. Or sorry, that does wound it, and I don't have the understanding, so no survival there, but the white lion has gone down. So the survivors are going to go in and pillage the white lion's body for any resources that it can bring back to the settlement. At the end of the lion hunt, we're getting our resources, and we're going to get a great cat bone, sinew, and lion testes. So a bunch of organs and some bones. So that's actually not too bad. Organs are something I've been needing a bit of. And our regular resources, we're going to get a broken lantern. Ooh, okay. Love juice. That's great because that can give me some population. Some monster bone. And some hide. So I was hoping for a little bit more bone there to make some more weapons. But I got some organs to make some more monster grease, which is excellent. All in all, some decent options. So my 4 survivors have returned home safely. So they are going to move on to the settlement event, and we're going to see what happens. First up, I will have 4 endeavors that I can use this time, and we're going to see what sort of events we have. So we're up to updating the timeline here, and we're going to get the Dark Trader. A corpulent man reclines on a chair carried on the backs of 4 cloaked men. He offers to sell the settlement many amazing treasures. Each item may only be purchased once. So a couple different options here. I think I'm going to go for the pink stone. So I'm going to use my sinew and hide here. And we're going to use, why not? We're going to use Amy here. And I'm actually kind of hoping for 10 for her to become immortal, but 3 to 9 for a founding stone is quite good too. 3, so founding stone. So that's actually not too bad. Another founding stone coming into my possession. Next up, the death count. No one died, so we move on. Story of I'm a Human did actually hit her age milestone here, so she's going to be able to start choosing a weapon proficiency. And we're going to see what happens on a roll of a d10 for what she gains. So on an 8, 2d10 rather. So 8 plus 1, so 9. So she's going to gain a random fighting art will be Crazed. On a perfect hit, gain 1 insanity. And it is time to use some of our endeavors. So we will use the first endeavor, and we'll use some stuff here to basically get my, what do you call it? My innovation. So there's the organ, there is the bone, and I guess that'll be the hide, or whatever the other one I need is. Yeah, the hide. So those three will go out of the way, and I will innovate. Moving on to being able to develop, we're going to innovate. So we're going to use the lion testes, the monster bone, and the questionable organ. And using Symposium, we're going to draw 3 and innovate one of them. So we're going to get paint, hovel, and drums. And as much as I love the idea of getting some extra survival upon departure, I think I need to go with paint because it gives me dash. I think that's just a way to send. I think we're going to send Amy to the augury, and she is going to roll a 4+. So she's going to gain +1 survival. So that's 2 endeavors. I got 2 left here, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to send her again for another survival, and one more time because I'm trying to trigger an intimacy event here. And 5. So she's going to gain 3 survival, but sadly, that does mean then I am going to use the love juice to trigger an intimacy event. So I'm going to have to nominate 2 survivors, and I'm going to have to so what we're going to do is we're going to use Todd because he's a little on the injured side, and we're going to name one of our unnamed female survivors. We're going to name her Trillium, and we're going to roll in the intimacy event, and hoping for 9 or 10 here because I would like to get some twins, but we'll see what happens. 4. So a new survivor is brought kicking and screaming into the world. The child's eyes are free of the ink that stained the founder's eyes. The settlement gains +1 population. In addition, I have to go through the principle of new life. So we have to choose between Protect the Young and Survival of Fitness. So Protect the One allows me to roll twice on the intimacy event and pick 1 result. And Survival of the Fitness, however, on a born child, I have to pick twice and, roll twice and pick the lowest result. But all newborn survivors gain +1 strength and evasion. And once per lifetime, the survivor may reroll a single roll result. I'm going to go with Survival of the Fittest here. I then have to roll on a d10 for them without mercy and find out what happens. So the toys are taken away from the child and replaced with a cold stone face shard. The training begins immediately. We're going to get a 2. The settlement celebrates with a rowdy party filled with tests of strength and triumphant roaring. The parents each gain +1 permanent strength and +2 insanity, but must skip the next hunt phase to recover. So Todd wasn't going to be hunting anyway, but still some strength for Todd and the newly named Trillium. And I think from the cannibalism principle, where I was able to get a couple extra resources, namely some hide and love juice, I'm going to trigger 1 more intimacy event, and I think I'm going to use. Well, you know what? Let's use Todd and Trillium again, because apparently there's no rules about not doing that. So we gotta roll twice and choose the lowest result. So 9 and 10. Okay, I think that might be. So I cannot use the 10 because of Survival of the Fittest, but that 9 does give me twins. So that is going to be an extra pair of survivors. So I guess I'll just make 1 male and 1 female. I'm going to take a look at my resources and figure out what to make, but I think I have enough gear to make a catgut bow, which will replace those bone darts. So sadly, the resources from this particular hunt weren't the greatest, so I'm just going to use some organs to make some monster grease. I happen to have 2, a set of lion testes and some golden whiskers. I'm going to use some hide in my storage to make 1 vest, and then I'm going to use the sinew, some of the resources I just got. So I think it was like a sinew of some sort. Yeah, sinew and the great cat bone. And I'm going to make a catgut bow. And that will take us to the end of Lantern Year 2 for the settlement of Magrathea. So the survivors are slowly inching along, collecting gear, collecting more abilities to do things. We will see what happens as we go into Lantern Year 3. I'm not sure what I'm going to hunt just yet, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go after the resource pinata that is the Screaming Antelope. Just because I do need to get some more hide and some more other options before I have a dreaded nemesis encounter in Lantern Year 4. So, thank you very much for watching. As always, I'd love to hear your comments below. Please leave a comment. If you caught anything that I did wrong, I would definitely like to know about it. If you have any suggestions or just some feedback, I'd love to hear it too. And be sure to hit that like and subscribe button. And hopefully we see you here for Lantern Year 3 of Magrathea on my solo Kingdom Death playthrough. Thank you very much for watching.